Okay, so DeVashi, my question for you is 2021, and I know you, just like everybody else, got some amazing body goals. So tell me, what is your least favorite workout?
Any workout is my least favorite workout. Let's just start there because I have always been a big guy in my entire life. I hate to sweat. My back hurts, my leg hurts, all of that. So any workout is my least favorite workout. I do not like, what I despise the most is running. I don't like running. I could probably do anything else outside of running. I can walk. I don't mind lifting weights. I don't like running. So I don't know if that's it. That is a workout, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I'm gonna say burpees, man. Like, there's nothing that will put me on my butt quicker than burpees. Like, I actually really do love to work out, love to run. I like high intensity cardio. Like, I really do. But burpees, no. Like, after like 5, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm leaving. Like, I can't. Definitely my least favorite workout.
Oh my God. Okay. And the guys, I know we've been talking, and we forgot to even say hello to the people. So, hey guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to RDU Black.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, we're kind of talking about just fitness goals, and or dieting. Have you ever been one to diet, Aisha?
No, I'm not a big dieter. I'll say that I'll make changes to my diet, but not. I don't like to call it a diet, because once I like call it a diet, it's like something I have to do. So I'll just say like I'm making healthier decisions, and it's something that I want to do. So I would like replace dairy with like almond milk, and I'll like cook with more like fruits. I will eat more fruits, but cook like more vegetables, and like make sure I'm using like olive oil, like just kind of keeping it light, excluding carbs. Like, let me pay attention. Like, I can't eat fries every single day, right? So I'm like, okay, if I have a day, like, I'll wait, maybe I'll eat like one fast food meal, usually Chick-fil-A, because that's my favorite, on like the weekend, and that's it. And so then I'm like, I'll cook at home through the week pretty well, but I will say that weekends is my favorite time to like splurge.
Nice. So I took all of 2020 and I actually started doing the keto diet. And it actually worked pretty good for me. So, and I'm not a dieter either. So, but this was more like a lifestyle change, because people was like, is it hard to do? Is being on keto hard? I was like, well, it is a diet. So full stop. Yes. It is a diet. But it's just a different way of eating. So, I pretty much just took out a lot out of my diet and a lot of sugars. That's the biggest thing, is just taking out a small amount of carbs and trying to eliminate as all kinds of natural sugars, or anything that breaks down into sugar, like your breads, like your rice, like your pastas, the good stuff.
The good stuff. I'm like, I can't give up mac and cheese. Like, I love mac and cheese. Now, I will either make it myself and bake it, but it's a little time consuming. But Trader Joe's macaroni and cheese, listen, like, if you just want like a quick meal, and the mac and cheese is actually good. So pasta is hard for me. And then I'm also a bread person. Like, I love a good bagel.
I do too. Everything you just said, I'm going to just say ditto. Everything ditto. But so like that the first so I lost altogether about 40 pounds last year.
All right, yes.
Which is, yay, good job for me. But it's like right when I got to a point and I started to plateau. So it's like now I'm like looking, okay, so now it's really time to like incorporate some more cardio, some more weightlifting. So I'm kind of looking out there for like a trainer. Shout out to my boy Corey. He's yes. Actually thinking about being my trainer as well. Okay. A new person I just met, Des. I was like, I'm gonna look into him as a trainer. So I was like, I like being a big guy. I like being a stockier guy, but I want to like see, calm down. I felt the flesh in your yes. I know your boyfriend.
I was about to say, well, yes, number one, yes to all that. Number two, What we call that at Prime Fitness Institute is prime built. So you basically trying to be prime built. And yes, the women we love a nice stocky guy. So I get where you're coming from.
yeah. I'm saying, like, somebody's like, "Oh, you gonna get skinny?" I said, "Never. I will never be skinny. A day in my life, I will never get skinny." But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much what this episode is all about. We're just gonna be talking about some fitness and probably some fitness goals as we are beginning out this year of 2021. So sit back and relax as we kind of go into this a little bit deeper. Okay, guys, welcome back to the RDU Black podcast. We have a good one today. We can't wait to talk and get to know this brother coming up to the stage. You want to cue him up?
Absolutely, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of RDU Black. Join us as we welcome Desmond Scott, owner of Prime Fitness Institute.
Welcome to the stage, man. Welcome.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this new venture known as RDU Black, where we are celebrating the life and the businesses of Black-owned businesses in the RDU area. So this will be my first time actually ever talking to you and meeting you. So I am excited getting to know who you are. I've been hearing wonderful things about you. I've been on my own type of fitness journey. So maybe, we can
cross paths.
So, hey, I'm excited to hear some more.
Man, thank you guys again for having me. This platform is awesome. And I think us as Black entrepreneurs need a space like this to be able to talk. Sometimes the only people that understand us are other entrepreneurs, and sometimes we just need to vent. And this is a good venting space. So I appreciate you guys for having me.
So you want to give a little rundown of who this brother is, Aisha?
Absolutely. I'll jump in. All right. Majoring in history and African-American studies and a minor in education, Desmond Scott is a graduate of Duke University and the owner of Prime Athletic Training and Fitness Institute. Born and raised in Durham, North Carolina, Desmond attended Hillside High School. While at Duke, he was both a running back and a wide receiver from 2009 to 2012. After graduation, he rebranded himself as a fitness influencer with the launch of Prime Fitness with a focus of family, faith, and fitness. In July of 2017, he cut the ribbon on a brand new state-of-the-art 11,000 square foot, fully equipped facility staffed with a team of professional trainers that offers a full-service fitness center, group training sessions, virtual classes, and meal plan support. Desmond and his father, Tony Scott, are in the process of launching a podcast titled Talks with a Father, where listeners can tune in and listen to conversations between a father and a son for the fatherless. You can stream the podcast from your favorite platform in the very near future. Speaking of family, Desmond recently married his beautiful wife, Lauren, who is a dentist by trade, and together they share a home and a four-legged fur baby named Zara. The newly wedded couple are set to celebrate their love on May the 1st, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Desmond Scott.
Aisha, that was beautiful.
Wow. I'm loving that. I am definitely loving that.
Hey, make sure you send that to me.
So Desmond, you're a Durham native, right?
That's absolutely correct. Born and raised.
So being a member, a original member of Durham, would you classify yourself as a Durham resident or a Durhamite, or do they make a difference?
So this is the thing, right? I didn't start hearing the term Durhamite until I got to college, and I always looked at it in a negative light. So I would say I'm a Durham resident.
Nice. Yeah, I've been in Durham before. I've been in Durham probably since 2001. So I guess, I lived in Durham for 13 years. Then I moved to Raleigh. So okay. I'm no longer a Durham resident. I'm now a Wake Forest resident. Raleigh Wood. I don't know what they call people in Raleigh. I have no idea.
They call it rough Raleigh is what they say.
Oh, okay. I say a North Raleigh, so no. But yeah, how was it being raised in the same city and also going to college in the same city and also having a business in the same city?
It is truly a blessing to be able to call Durham home for 30 years. Um, to be in a city that has grown so much over the last year or 30 years, and to see it is absolutely phenomenal. As a kid, you just live in life. And it's not until you reach your 20s when you're able to actually drive and go out and see the city change. And it is absolutely incredible that the amount of businesses, houses, restaurants, the development that is going on in our city, especially downtown Durham. Back in high school, we would dare not go downtown Durham just to hang out. Now it's like, babe, let's go walk downtown. And to see that is truly amazing. And to do college here, Duke is its own town. There's plenty of people that I went to high school with that had no idea that Duke was in Durham.
It's the same thing about North Carolina Central. Because when I tell people I go to North Carolina Central, oh, where's that?
Yeah.
It's in Durham, and we're in Durham right now talking about this.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's even crazier on campus for those kids that are not from the area who feel in a bubble around those Duke walls. And it's like, man, listen, if you just go down the street 5 miles or so, you're in a different part of the Durham or a different part of Durham.
Yeah.
But to see Duke in Durham and to be a part of the bridging of the two, that was great for me. And what I mean by that is I was the first Duke student, or the first Durham athlete to become a Duke football player in years.
Wow.
And to be the number one running back out of the state, number 23 in the nation, people knew who I was. And so I was able to help bridge the gap between Duke and Durham. And the Duke marketing team did a very good job at exploiting that.
I'm sure they did.
And so now, being in business here, it holds weight. It definitely holds weight. But being a small business, everybody doesn't know who or where you are. I feel like a lot of our popularity has come from word of mouth rather than, oh, Desmond Scott, the Duke guy, the Durham guy, he owns a spot. But it's been an interesting journey, to say the least.
So, Des, let's talk a little bit about making choices and wise decisions. So, in your life as an entrepreneur, you've made many wise choices, such as choosing Duke, starting a business, opening a gym, and getting married. So, as a young professional and millennial, I find it difficult at times to make the right decision. I'm worried about what if I make the wrong decision, with the wrong choice. So, walk us a little bit through your decision-making process as a business owner.
I graduated Duke in 2013, and I turned down the NFL and decided to teach. And so the first decision that I had to make was I'm going to listen to my dad, because my dad was the reason why I even got certified at all. He was like, Des, you know it. You know how to train. You've been doing it your whole life. You should get certified in training. And I'm like, for what? Like, I don't want to do this. Again, this is 2013. So working out wasn't a popular thing as it is now via social media. And so the first decision I made was to get certified. And so I got certified in 2013. And that quickly took over my life. I think it was September of 13 when I was training early in the morning, teaching throughout the day, and then training in the evening. And I realized that I was making more money training than I was throughout the day. And my throughout the day was my day job. At this point, you know, I was an infant in entrepreneurship, and I wouldn't have even called it entrepreneurship. I would just call it training.
Right.
The word entrepreneur did not come to light for me, and I think a lot of people until here recently. But in 2013, I was just out here just trying to make ends meet. I'm a newly graduated kid, and I just bought a new car, and I had a townhouse that I had to pay rent for. And so I was like, I got to get it by any means necessary. And so for all of my entrepreneurs out there, you know, if you take the words that I just gave out, I didn't start a business to start a business. It was kind of like, I got to make sure that I'm able to pay my bills and make it happen and live my life. And then slowly the business aspect came about it. And so the next best thing that I decided to do, Aisha, was to raise my prices. And I raised my prices because
That's real.
I started having quote unquote too many clients. I was doing one-on-one training at the time, but I was finding out that more people wanted to work out than the space that I had allotted for. And so it allowed me to raise my prices, and then it allowed me to start doing group training. And so that set the foundation of where we are now back in 2013, my popularity growing. And then slowly but surely, the business developed around what I was already doing. It wasn't until 2017 that I actually wrote a business plan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what's that, 4 years in the game? And, you know, I didn't have a business plan. And I wouldn't suggest that for a lot of people. However, I think oftentimes that is the best way to do it, you know, to fall into something and say, hell, okay, this is what I've done. Now let me write something that goes along to what I've done, because we all know we can write something out, but it's not going to go the way we wrote it out. So to be able to fall into it, I think was one of the biggest blessings for me, because Lord knows if I would have known the effort, the work that it takes to be a business owner, I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have done it. I probably wouldn't have done it.
So, what would you tell yourself 8 years ago that if you were talking to Desmond 8 years ago, what would be the one thing or a couple of things that he's like, okay, you need to know this so that you can not have the headache that I had all these years later?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I would say is when I start looking off in space, I'm really thinking. The first thing I would say, though, is understand that business and personal relationships are different. And what I mean by that is it's called personal training, right? So it's a very personal experience. And Aisha can speak to this. The gym is a very close-knit community. And naive young Desmond, even last year's Desmond, didn't understand that other people couldn't see the layers of our relationship. And what I mean is, I could be your friend outside of the gym, but I was also your trainer, and I also was the owner of the gym that you went to. So that's three different levels of relationships that we have. And oftentimes Desmond didn't bring the right person to the situation, and it turns some people off. So that would be the biggest thing that I would tell Desmond 8 years ago, is really understand the differences of relationships when it comes to your clients. And then number two would be, at some point, you're not going to be popular. Um,
Mm.
Things are going to happen, and you need to save the money that you're making. Not that I blew it, but I would have done a much better job very soon, or much sooner rather, at saving money.
Nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
think that that's a really good point. I love that you talk about relationships so much, and it's a common theme throughout the entire gym. And it's funny that you say that because to me, I felt like relationships is what kept me coming back to the gym. And
Mhm.
so it's a connection that I made with somebody that texted was like, "Hey girl, where you at? Like, are you on the way? Are you coming? Are you coming to work out this Saturday?" You know, so it was relationships that kept me coming back. Yes, the gym is great. You are great, obviously, but you can find a great gym anywhere. But it's about the
Mhm.
relationships and the personal connections that I made to the people connected to Prime that kept me coming back. That kept me wanting to eat right, to do better, to lift the extra weight because I had people yelling in the background telling me I could do it.
Right.
Also, you was watching. You put a lot of pressure on us, but I feel like pressure good way. You don't let up on us at all, and it was our relationship. It's like in a way, we want to work hard not only for ourselves, but at the end of the day, we're making you proud too because we hit that next milestone. We don't want to go in here and slack and do the same thing over and over because then we're not progressing. So I think relationships speak very highly of why people stay connected to the gym. And that's the thing that keeps people coming back and wanting to support. So that was a really good point.
You were talking about picking out the right people to actually work with your particular business because sometimes we may not know exactly who to kind of bring on board.
Mhm.
I am a testament of that because this would be like the third podcast attempt I've done, and I realized that I need to make sure that I'm collaborating because as a creative and also serial entrepreneur, I tend to kind of go into it saying that I can do all of this by myself,
Right.
or not really vetting the right people to kind of carry out the vision that I have. Can you kind of talk some more about why that was something that you said that you could have learned a better way of doing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think as a entrepreneur early on, you just need help. And you're like, dude, oh, you can do this job? Oh, you're my best friend, you're my cousin, you're my sister, brother, lover. Come on because I need something to get done. And you find out very quickly that that is not the way to go about
Nah, not at all.
it. However, I think you have to experience those downfalls to truly live in the moment of when you're at a high, right? Because even for yourself, where you are now, you wouldn't know that you're doing well if you didn't experience what you've experienced in the past. So I say, those times were definitely needed. However, I caution entrepreneurs in certain businesses where the people that you're servicing see who rotate through. So for podcasts, if you were doing all audio, I would say that you switching people wouldn't have as much of an impact on the business if I was switching trainers. But it's business. And so we talk about the different levels of relationships. I, as the business owner, Desmond, have or has to do a outstanding job relaying the message to our clientele that if we're switching trainers, it's for the benefit of you. Aisha just talked about the relationships. You build the relationships and that's what you want. But what the client doesn't see or what the listener doesn't see is X, Y, and Z is not doing what they're supposed to be doing on the back end, or they're not representing the brand that to the best of their ability. And so me as a business owner, I have to do what I have to do to ensure that you as a client is getting everything that you're supposed to be getting. But it's a very thin line, man. I've pulled the trigger too fast. I pulled the trigger too late. I've relayed the message perfectly and it still got taken wrong. And I did a terrible job at relaying the message. So like I've literally experienced all of it. But to have the right people on your team is absolutely necessary. And I would say go through everything to find the right person.
All right, Des, let's take it back to Duke a little bit. How do you believe that team sport you prepare to be a business owner today?
Well, I know I'm not an athlete at all and never have been one, but I've worked on a lot of teams. The snickering can go. No, I've worked on a lot of different types of teams, and most of the time, even working in different organizations in college, I'm usually a leader in some way.
Yeah.
So it's like I am, before it's all said and done, either I can't shut up enough before I take on a leadership role, or I try to pull back when I know what I'm saying will work. And it's like, I just got to get it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see that this all could work a whole lot more cohesive if we try it this way.
Yeah.
And so definitely being a part of a team and then also realizing that you are a leader within that team really speaks to your success.
So you have to, I call it PYP, play your part. Right. And that's what a team sport is. Like I have to rely on my offensive linemen to block the people that they're going to block. People relate business to team sports often, but I truly want to go against the grain right now and say that it is not the same. Like I really want to do that right now. And I don't know why, but I also can't find the words to describe why they're different. Most of the time, you can't pick your teammates.
Okay.
Like I can't pick my teammates. Like my coaches do that.
Yeah.
And so we're going back to the idea of relationship building. So I have to build a relationship with my teammates to be as successful as I want to be. But then you look at it from the business standpoint, the only kind of relationship that I've been a part of that I believe works is a non-emotional work environment.
Okay.
And I know I'm not answering the question, Aisha, I'm so sorry. But when you asked it, normally I would be able to just spit something out, but it's different to me.
Going back to what you were saying, that your coaches are the ones who pick the team for you, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when those different players that are being chosen are vetted, they try to take the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And they come with a certain level of skill set already walking through the door.
Right.
Sometimes in business, as we're like choosing people to be a part of our team, sometimes we're just seeing their potential, but not really something proven.
Okay, now you're talking.
So it's more about, okay, now I have to trust you to get you to a certain level.
Right.
Versus in a team setting, we all come with this almost a similar skill set. Right. So it's a whole lot easier cohesiveness to start to gel and to mesh because we all are kind of in this same world. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have one trainer come from and another trainer be added, right. But what I am saying is that this style, the style in which my business is, sometimes you have to spend that extra time of getting them there. Right. And for some people, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
You mentioned they're coming with a certain level of skill set, and me being a natural leader, the way that I lead these football players is not the same way that I can lead these business people.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the emotional side that I was talking about, because being a football player, I can do all that I need to do to get you to run another sprint. But these people in this office, these people in this gym, it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's totally different because these people are saying, look, I can go home at the end of the day. Like, you know, you're not my real teammate. Like,
right.
we're not really sweating, bleeding, and getting to the nitty gritty together like we are on this football field.
Yeah.
So the type of leader that I had to be on the football field is a different kind of leader. Put that on the shirt. The leader I had to be on the football field is a different leader that I have to be in the workplace. And I failed many times of trying to lead my staff to where we had to go because I didn't know how to.
Because as a new entrepreneur, you're still learning this thing yourself.
Yeah. And all I know is hard work.
Yeah.
But your hard work doesn't look like my hard work. And so if I say, come on now, man, hurry up, and I say it in the wrong term or the wrong tone, your feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we ain't got time for the feelings.
Man. And that's why I couldn't answer the question like straight up because it didn't sit with me.
I have a question I wanted to ask. So you said that as a person that was one of the first Durham residents to join the Duke football team in like ages, and then kind of going through your matriculation of being a student at Duke and then coming out being a business owner. What would you say was the hindrance for you living up to the name or the expectation, and how you've had to walk that out?
I had none. Growing up in the Scott household, my parents had expectations. And the way my dad raised me prepared me for all of that. As a outstanding high school football player, my dad handled all interviews until he felt like I was ready for me to handle interviews. So all I had to do is play football. But the level of expectation that my parents had of me was way higher than any other person could place on me. Being a man of God, making my parents happy, can't nobody outdo that. and we're okay. Now we're here now. We're at a place now where I'm understanding that expectation. So one of my expectations, I don't know. And if y'all do, and if y'all ever find listeners, please write where you can write, let the host know. I don't know anybody who has built the gym from the ground up like I have to the level that it is now. And the pressure that I put on myself was to keep building because it all happened so quickly. So I felt like people wanted to see the next level. I'm at a place now, though. Man, I'm married. I got kids coming. I am not worried about none of y'all. Man, I'm trying to figure out how to save money and get ready for these kids that's going to come whenever God puts it on our hearts to have some kids.
Sometimes I just feel like we're in a rat race, and it's like Instagram, social media, but I just feel like there's so much pressure to be doing the next thing, always introducing something, always doing something, having multiple sources of income. Are you hustling? Are you investing in stocks? Do you have a business? Are you married? Have you bought a house yet? Have you bought a car yet? Like, I just feel like it's a lot of pressure at this age, and it's like, I don't know if other generations had to deal with this, but I'm at some point, I feel like it's got to stop. Not that you don't want to constantly improve and get better, but at a certain point, you have to you got to stop and say, are you happy? Am I happy where I'm at? Am I happy where I'm going? Or do I feel like I have to do this because people want to see the next level? Or because of Instagram, I'm comparing myself and everybody else is on the next level and I'm not there yet. Am I behind?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think a lot of people go through that. And if they don't have the support to let them know that, like, hey, where you are is okay. You're in your chapter. Continue doing your chapter. You'll move to the next one when you're supposed to move to the next one. And getting married, was one of the biggest eye openers for me because we're in 2021. So I bought a ring during COVID, during the pandemic. I got engaged during the pandemic and got married during the pandemic. In all of that happening, it was, it is no longer about you or these other people, Des. It is about this woman that you have to serve and protect and lead. And I'm like,
that's right.
I could continue. I can definitely. You heard Aisha.
I do. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. It like I can continue to hustle, and my wife definitely supports me hustling, but I have to hustle in a smarter manner. And I think that's the difference, Aisha. Like everybody's hustling, but they're not necessarily being smart about how they're hustling. They're just trying to do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Like, nah, like I'm gonna do my thing, but they're all gonna tie in together.
All right, so let's move on to family. So your relationship with your dad. I was writing this question and it was getting a little emotional. But I love your relationship with your dad. I think many people do. It's a beautiful thing to see you guys just interact and love on each other. And I think that for our generation, something we want to normalize is present fathers, right? Versus absent fathers, because that's what we hear about the most. The fathers not being there in the Black community, death, due to death, incarceration, choice, etc. So there was an interview you did in 2009, and you mentioned that your dad was the one who actually taught you how to cook. So I was hoping maybe you can, describe your relationship with your father and how that has helped you and helped make you the man you are today. Tell us a little bit about talks with the father that you have coming up and what we can expect from future episodes.
But my dad definitely did all the cooking in the house.
We do this to research, Des. We do this to research.
Listen, bravo. If y'all can make it clap right now, just sheesh.
Right.
And Aisha, I think that the conversation of fathers of our generation is changing. I think the dads of our generation are more present than the previous generation. I think it's starting to take a turn.
I do too.
I think it's starting to take a turn. That was my first point. Point number two, my dad's relationship, me and my dad's relationship is the best that it's ever been, but it just got this way. And let me tell you why. And for any parents out there, take notes to what I'm about to talk about right now. So I started playing football at 6. I played football. I ran track. I did exceptionally well in both sports. I got to 8th grade going into high school, and my dad said, "Which sport do you want to go to college in? Is it football or is it track?" Obviously, football was a glory sport. So I said, "Dad, I want to do football." From that point on, and even a little bit prior, we trained. We trained Sunday through Saturday. We trained. I'm talking about 8th grade. I'm lifting at 5 a.m. before I go to school. My dad wrote letters to my teachers to say, "Hey, look, Des is going to eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich." I just made that up in class, but it shouldn't take him. It shouldn't take him longer than 3 minutes to eat. And if he's playing with it or causing a distraction, call me. So the seriousness of our training happened very quickly. Because of that, our relationship was strictly training. Now, imagine being 12, 13, 14, a preteen into your teenage years, and the only time that you really spend time with your dad is on the football field. 7 times out of 10, he's going to make me mad, which means when we go home, I don't really want to talk to you. Right? I really don't want to talk to you. Right? And then we got to a level where Desmond, the 13-year-old, had a scholarship from Clemson as a freshman, right? And so now I kid you guys not, we would be coming home from church on a Sunday. So he's driving in the car and I'm in the back seat. So Mr. Scott, you had 300 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and X, Y, and Z. How do you feel about it?
Wait, is he interviewing you?
Bro, expects me to respond immediately in a manner that he's going to be okay with. And this is why I can talk to y'all now. And it's just, bro, I was getting interviewed on Sundays after church about something I did on Friday.
Not after church. I'm just trying to get something to eat.
Oh, wow.
And look, but this is the thing. We didn't go just straight home. You know, we had to go look at houses. We drove all the way around Durham. And so it's not escaping the car. So I'm in the back seat hot, like, bruh, like, can we just enjoy this Sunday ride? It's a beautiful day. Roll the windows down. Turn Sade up. Like,
come on, Sade.
Come on. Listen, y'all don't want to hear me talk. But no, that was our relationship. Really, that was really our relationship. So this was 13 to, you know, when I don't know when I went to college. What was that? How was that when I went to college? 17, 18? And so he trained me all the way up until then. And then Duke took over. But this is the beautiful part of it. So I did train for the NFL just to be a part of the experience, to say that I've done it, to be able to tell stories about it. And I actually asked my dad to train me. I asked him, I said, Dad, like, I want you to, and I meant it. Not at that point, I didn't really know how to put it into words to make it all mushy and real intimate. But I was like, Dad, I want you to train me. Like, I think it'd be kind of cool for this thing to come back full circle. You know, you started me and now you're concluding with me. But the way my dad is, and I'm like him now, I was like, fool. Like, not fool, Daddy, if you hear this, I'm sorry. He would call me a fool. He would call me a fool. I'm sorry, Dad. He would be like, boy, get out of here. Like, I've trained you all these years. You know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I trained myself. Like, I trained myself for the NFL Pro Day. And I did very, very well. Like, I did a very good job at training myself. I remember a newspaper article, and since y'all do this research, y'all find it. But the writer said, Desmond Scott looks like he's chiseled out of rock.
Wow.
Dude, I still didn't want to train, but this was just me doing what I knew how to do. And so to think about it now, it's like, oh, I showed signs that I knew what to do. I just didn't know that I knew what I wanted to do. Fast forwarding into me being a adult, and I was a teacher. I might even been training at this time. And my dad went through, I don't know if it was like a midlife crisis, but I would call it like a slight depression, because I think he was turning 50. And his body was breaking down, his wrists, his shoulders, his knee, like everything was just breaking down. And he couldn't do things around the house that he felt like a man should have to do. He couldn't clean his gutters. He was afraid to go up the ladder. He couldn't, cut trees and move them like he used to in his earlier age. And he called me, he said, come over, we need to talk. And he said, Des, I feel like I can't even call my own son to get things done around the house. Here I am depressed and I can't get you to do things for me when I need it done. And for me, it was just like, oh, like I'm just not around. Like we don't really have a relationship. This is not my thinking, but this is innately, like we really don't have we really don't have a relationship. Why? Football wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And he cried and I cried during this conversation, but I realized that if I wanted us to have a relationship, I was going to have to find something where we had common ground again. It wasn't going to be on him because he's who he is. He's not changing. Desmond, you have to figure out what the bond is between you two. again because it was no longer football. And so from that conversation on, our relationship began to take a turn and really look like father and son. Yeah. So part two to your question, because I took a long time, but I still remember part two. So part two was like, how does that make me into who I am now? The hustle and the grind that I was a part of at 10, 11, 12, you see that every day. Like college football to me was nothing. Nothing. Like waking up, easy. Like lifting, easy. Eating this food, easy. I've been doing it.
Right. The conditioning is already there.
The condition is there. That's what makes me or has made me into the businessman I am now. Like these early mornings, man, okay, yeah. I don't like it all the time. Growing up in the Scott household, these are things that you got to do. Like if dad says it's time to get up and go lift, let's go get this money.
and be ready to be interviewed.
Right. On a Sunday after church. When you hungry.
That's right.
My father and him and my mom did a very good job at making me into the man that I am today. One of the fears, you know, when you first start dating people, it was like, you know, what fears do you have? They start asking all kind of questions. The fear that I always say is that I won't be the father and husband that my dad was to me and my mom and my brother. Wow. And I said that to him. He was like, yeah, right. You'll be better. Because nice. You're already in a place far beyond where I was at your age.
Wow. That's a lot coming from your father. That's a lot.
That is. And so, yeah, we'll have conversations like that on Talks with the Father. Generational conversations.
Looking forward to that. I plan on subscribing myself, even though I'm a woman.
No, but that's the thing, though, Aisha. That's the thing. That's the thing. So women will be able to get a lot from this. We will have all types of conversation to be able to give valuable information to not only men that don't have fathers, but women that don't have fathers or women that's dating men. Like we're going to be able to provide a platform and information for everybody. My daddy is full of gems, and I can't wait to spend this time with him and for you guys to get what I've been getting for 30 years.
That was my mindset. As soon as I saw it, I went ahead and subscribed because me personally, just thinking about my father was in my life up until he passed away from lung cancer when I was in high school, but I was like going right into 9th grade. So I really felt like I was in a place where I really could have used the guidance, my dad being there for me in high school and even in college. And so I feel like there was so much that like at that age, I really felt like that's kind of when I was wanting him to be around a little bit more. I kind of wanted to talk to him about things. And middle school, not so much, but like going into high school, I felt like I wasn't prepared. I didn't like talking about dating with my mom. It's just point blank, don't get pregnant. That's it. Like, you know, but I really actually wanted to know like what you're looking for in a man. And so I felt like I had a different perspective because it was women. It was just my mom, my grandma, my aunt, but actually male's perspective. And then even going into college, I think definitely would have set me up. And I would have known what to look for. And I think I even would have known a little bit more about my worth and my value as a woman. My father. Yeah, they definitely are. Even when it comes to dating, because I think a lot of us, you know, some of the women that I've been in with, when we talk about dating, and there's a lot of the guys we come in contact with in their 20-something, there's a lot of them that don't have relationships with their father. So that you have to deal with that as well. And these are the guys we're going to be dating, you know, so I think it's going to be a great podcast. I'm looking forward to it. And yes, your dad drops lots of gems. We're Facebook friends. So I'm excited about that. I have two things I like to close with. The first one is about the role that God plays in your life. Anybody who's went to prom, club prom, streamed it, watched it, been there in the gym, knows that you are certainly a man of God. So just in a general sense, because I know it's a broad question, what do you think is the most important role that God plays in your life personally and in your business?
Your relationship with Christ is no different than the relationship you and I have, the relationship you two have. It is a relationship that takes work. There's times where we're clicking, and there's times when we're not. But majority, all the times that you're not clicking, it's your fault. Right? So you have to figure out where you are in life and where God fits, because we oftentimes put him to the back burner. And as you get older, as you experience more things in life, he slowly starts becoming the priority. Not one of them, but the priority. I think where I am now in my Christian walk is the best it's ever been. I would say when I was 22, but that was more naive than it was understanding God. Where I am now, I didn't understand my role as a Christian man and a Christian husband until I was ready to get married. I got off social media like 3 months before I got engaged because I got tired of seeing all the women. And I was like, I can't go into this new chapter of my life with these old things that's just easy and accessible on my cellular device. I just said cellular device. I did a deep dive into what it meant to be a husband and to understand that God is my foundation and my rock and who I need to go through. And this woman that he's given me is my responsibility. Like this, she is a gift. And it's my responsibility to lead, protect, and serve her. And to understand that how that relationship looks is how my relationship with God is supposed to look. And so once I was able to understand my relationship with my wife, I was able to have a more vibrant, I want to say cohesive, but that's not the word, but a more vibrant relationship with the Lord. And I was able to find that through my wife.
You start to see yourself being more present in the furtherances of this relationship. So, because a lot of times we don't realize that there is some complacency sometimes in relationship, and it's like, okay, at some point I need to, number one, realize that, and then just become more present in it. And once I become more present in it, that I get more satisfaction out of this relationship.
I do more thinking now than I've ever done in my life, right? Like I'm always thinking about how is this going to affect Lauren in whatever kind of way. And I actually had a conversation with my dad, and I was like, Dad, I'm tired. Like this is kind of exhausting. And what he said, it kind of blew me away. His response, his response was like, not this part. He said, you shouldn't be tired. He said, but you have to communicate with your wife that you feel like you're doing a job. But I kind of disagree with how he put it, because I want to be present. Like I want to consistently and consciously think about what my wife needs on a daily basis. So if I have to be tired right now, I think I'm okay with being tired, regardless of what my dad just said, which I'm pretty sure he's right in some kind of context or content. But no, I'm okay with being tired right now because this is what I feel like I need to be as the husband. Like I've been in relationships where I was not present. And so if this is me being present, let me figure this out. Now, I know he mentioned this, the tiredness part, because people are married for the rest of their life. So if I'm tired for the rest of my life, that's no good. So I do understand what he means by, you got to figure it out. But I don't think right now is where we figure it out. I think we need to continue to learn each other, continue to learn ourselves, and figure out, okay, how can we live life in a cohesive manner where we're not tired?
Woo, that's good. So I'm inviting myself over, me and Charles, because I know there's a fire pit that you guys have in your backyard. And they set up movie screens and everything. And so
Wait a
I
minute.
have
What
invited
is it?
myself via Instagram. Dad's gonna try to laugh it off, like, ha ha ha. No.
Now, pull up. So we're gonna get it together for the spring, and we're gonna be out there. Fire pit, s'mores. I did my first s'more 2 weekends ago.
Oh wow.
First one. It changed my life. Changed my life.
It's your first time having a s'more. Man, that's crazy.
2021 is the year of grass and s'mores.
Come on now.
So, Des, what I like to close with, and I know DeVashi has some things set up for you, but as far as questions wise, what I like to close with, I ask this question is, I am a sponge. I love taking in information and learning as much as possible. So you got a lot of gems you drop. Tell us what do you use to pour into yourself? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What articles are you reading? What do you use to stay on top of the game? Professionally, spiritually, all of that.
I don't do enough reading. I don't.
Me either.
I had a book on the floor. I think my dad took it. Y'all remember the Berenstein Bears? Y'all remember that?
Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Listen, I lie to you guys not. That was probably the only book that I read fully.
Oh wow.
Des.
We gonna cut that part.
Don't judge me. No, don't cut it because I have 2 degrees. Hey, listen.
Des, do not fall into the athlete that goes to school without reading one book.
Listen, college is meant to teach you how to get over. That is the importance of college.
I'm looking at the bio like, wait, major in history, African American studies, minor education. What?
Listen, Duke is not a place where you can cheat. Let's be clear. You can't cheat at Duke. It is not Carolina. Listen, I just threw that out there. Hey. Listen, no, Duke is very difficult. Duke is very difficult to be an athlete and taking history classes too. Like you had to figure out how to make do. Well, listen, yo.
Make it make sense, Des.
How about this? Look, the last book I read was Loose That Man, Let Him Go. It's by T.D. Jakes. And that was a dynamic book. I think he might have wrote it back in 90 something.
Yeah, that's when his suits didn't really fit well and his shoes were leaning a little bit. That's in those West Virginia days.
The reason I asked that is because there's so many people who are successful and influential like yourself, and I like to know what people are reading, pouring into them that helps them get to where they want to go. So this is great because I have a whole list now. Like I have a library of books. I'm about to order them all. And I think this is important, honestly. So I'm going to look it up myself, actually.
So if you could you take a moment and just speak into the life of the entrepreneur, whether they are current or thinking about becoming an entrepreneur? But I just want you to kind of speak to the RDU Black entrepreneurs listening.
Do it. Find out what the world is missing. This is how a business gets started. Find out what the world is missing. Figure out where you fit into that thing that is missing. Make it a business. Don't outrun your headlights. Desmond, what does that mean? If you're driving a car, your headlights only shine so far. If you outrun those headlights, you can't see where you're going.
Talk this.
Yeah.
Find what's missing in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Find where you fit in that missing piece and don't outrun your headlights.
Nice. I think everyone can take everything he said and apply it, whether it's entrepreneurs or whatever have you, because we all have that one thing where we said, why didn't I think of that? Or why is this not happening?
Yeah.
It's not happening because it's waiting on you to make that thing happen. Launch out into the deep.
That's right.
Try. Don't be afraid to fail. Just do it. Well, that's the end of our podcast, man. Thank you so much. You were an awesome guest. So, guys, make sure you're following him. Can you shout out all your social media handles so people can follow you and find out everything you're doing?
Well, let's start with Facebook first because I still have it. Desmond L. Scott. And I'm very present on my Facebook. My Instagram is at Desmond L. Scott. And the gym's Instagram is at Prime Institute.
Can you give us where your location of Prime Fitness is?
Yeah, we are located at 3738 Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard, and that's in Durham, North Carolina, 27707. All my Black listeners, we are beside Mayflower. You know what that is.
Absolutely. Everybody knows what Mayflower is. All right, Des, thank you so much for joining us, guys. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Des just like I did. I did not know him from Adam, but I'm going to start to get to know who he is.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for being here. And this is an awesome platform for entrepreneurs to come and just talk. And I'm pretty certain that the listeners are going to get more than what they think they're going to get when they come listen to this podcast.